is about 90+% of all information on this subject is embedded information. I even know who it's coming from and how they're doing it. In fact, I've had meetings with folks at the CIA, and we talk about this. In fact, there's a PhD scientist. And so folks have no idea how much the information nexus on the UFO subject is mostly not the pure quill, but sort of this tainted information. And, it's interesting. There's a guy who used to be the right hand to General Odom, who was head of the National Security Agency for years. And he says, yes, we have a term for that, DDT. So I said, what? This is a chemical. He says, no. He says, DDT, you set up, if someone's doing something, so you put something in there that becomes a distraction and a decoy, but it's filled with false information, and it trashes the entire subject. And we call it DDT. And I said, yeah, well, you guys are very good at doing it. He says, oh, yes. And so, and so most of what you see in the media, and it comes out of Hollywood. And by the way, this is why we fiercely wanted to keep this film serious, independent. It's an indie film, and even our publicist, Jim Thompson, who used to represent a lot of big stars in Hollywood, he has a firm called Indie PR, and he's going to be working with us on the PR angle because we feel like we have to be very careful, because if we're not, these folks who have embedded assets all over the place in Hollywood and in the media are going to start sticking nonsense in. And this has been my biggest problem, Steve. I'll tell you that, is that so many people have taken the material we have from, whether it's Disclosure Project or other materials, and they'll take it, repackage it, and commingle it with nonsense. And that is something that I can't really stop except point out what the truth is. But I'm only one person, so it's a very daunting thing. And just like you mentioned with the 9/11 situation, a study came out a few years ago about the anti-war period during the Vietnam War, and they found out that in New York, if there were like 12 people who were at a meeting, 8 of them were on the Intelligence Committee payroll, either for the FBI, the New York Police Department, the Red Squad, this thing, the other thing, and had infiltrated that group. And this is now a matter of public record. Well, the same is true on the UFO subject, and the same is true on other things, is that they basically put people in there who match up well, and they become a vector or an entry point for disinformation, false information, and it is a very, very big problem when you're dealing with something that they really do want to keep secret, is that it's kind of hidden in plain sight, but trashed with all this false information, as you very wisely point out.